Be strong, brave, intelligent, smart and determined. Face all your problems head on. And regardless of the consequences. Value yourself, appreciate yourself and respect yourself. If you want to control the world and the universe, you must control yourself first. First you must learn about yourself. First you must recognize yourself. You have to identify yourself first. You have to accept and to love yourself. You have to know yourself. And you have to be aware and identify all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all of your emotions, all of your words and all of your actions. Because everything starts from within yourself. Because everything starts within your own magnificent brain. You have to identify, recognize, accept and love your mind. Overcoming and winning over others, it's okay. It's an instinct. The concept of vacations. What are vacations, and why do we expect them so much? The holidays, vacations, birthday. Time, it's something very important to us. Since kids, we start to assign our time to some responsibilities, like, wake up at certain time to go to the school. And when we return from the school, we assign time to eat and to make the homework. Then we have a time to play, then to have dinner and to sleep. This means that since kids, we start to have a schedule. And, as we grow old, this schedule have more responsibilities. And, yes, a lot of times, we do not like to be forced to do things, like going to work, make dinner, etc. That's why, we look for a way to avoid the schedule, to rest and to relax. That's why we expect the holidays and vacations, as the perfect excuse to rest and to relax. And this is something good and necessary, because we need to relax, to rest. Yes, I know that for many years, the idea that we have to work every day to make others richer was something that all the companies think. But in this modern times, it's more important the mental health, and this is something good. We can't work every day. It's not good. But unfortunately, for millions of people, all around the world, they have no other choice, because they live, day to day, I mean that they receive money for every day that they work. And, if someday they don't work, they don't receive the money. Our mental health, it's extremely important, for we can be happy. That's why we need to find ways to relax, and to rest. Nobody have to work every day. Nobody. But unfortunately, there are millions of people, who have to. Who has no other choice. And that's why we look and expect the holidays and vacations. For a way to escape from our responsibilities, schedule and obligations. At least for a few days. At least for a while. And this is something good and necessary. The concept of overcoming the problems. What are the problems? It looks like, if problems are something unavoidable in our life. But, believe me, everything has a solution. Absolutely everything. One way or another. Everything. Everything has a solution. Absolutely everything. If the problem has a solution, then don't worry, because has a solution. If the problem doesn't has a solution, then don't worry, because it does have a solution. If the problem has a solution, then fix it. If the problem doesn't has a solution, then accept it. But, believe me, everything has a solution. Absolutely everything. One way if another. Everything. Everything has a solution. Absolutely everything. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens without a warning. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens without a warning. Nothing. A winning and successful mind doesn't say, "Oh, I have so much problems and I don't know what to do." A winning and successful mind say, "Oh, I have so many problems. How do I fix them?" The concept of satisfaction. What is the satisfaction, and why does it makes me feel so good? Satisfaction, it's one of the most powerful feelings that we can achieve. Maybe the most powerful. That's why we look for it all the time. The definition of satisfaction is the pleasant feeling that you get when you receive something that you want so much, that you desire, or when you have done or are doing something satisfying. The feeling and the thought of fulfillment of one's wishes, expectations, and needs. The pleasure derived from this. The feeling of absolute fulfillment. The absolute feeling of satisfaction, joy, fulfillment, complacency, and gratification, caused by a physical, non-physical, and a visual interaction. Two of the best examples of satisfaction are when we eat and drink something delicious that we want so much. Intervened 5 aspects: our sense of taste, our sense of smell, our sense of sight, our sense of hearing, and our sense of touch, and also our digestive organs. When we start to eat and drink, our senses of taste, smell, and touch. Enjoy the taste and the smell of the food and the drinks. Our sense of sight, see the food that we are going to eat. Our sense of hearing, hear the sound of the restaurant and the food. And you eat and drink the things that you like, and you feel a lot of pleasure when you are eating and drinking. But not satisfaction. The feeling of satisfaction, it's created when your stomach gets full. Our stomach sends a signal to our magnificent brain to tell them that you are full. Then, our brain, in a combination of the feeling of pleasure for the taste of the food and the drinks, plus the signal that our stomach gets full, creates the powerful feeling of total satisfaction, pleasure, joy, and fulfillment. Also, our magnificent brain releases chemicals such as the adrenaline, serotonin, and endorphins, who makes us feel a very powerful feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment, which are an extremely important part of the pleasure, because we have completely fulfill the hunger and the thirst that we have. We feel full. In the other example will be the satisfaction that we feel through sexual interactions. On this case, the satisfaction it's generate when we fulfill our desires and our physical needs. On the case of women's, the satisfaction it's generated when they feel fulfillment through the penetration. And also when they fulfill the need of touching, rubbing, and kissing that they have. And even if the penetration could be something painful and an act of submission, they love it. Woman finds an extremely and powerful feeling of satisfaction, joy, and pleasure through the penetration. They fulfill their desires and their physical needs. And it could be one of the best and most powerful sensations that they can feel. In the case of man, they feel satisfaction when they penetrates and also with the physical effort and the feeling of the ejaculation, which cause on man an extremely feeling of pleasure, joy, and satisfaction. Also, mons feel an extremely feeling of pleasure because for them, it's an act of power. For man, the physical effort and the fatigue, combined with the penetration and the ejaculation, makes them feel an extremely feel of pleasure and satisfaction, knowing that they did a good job. But the satisfaction can be found in many ways. Pleasure and satisfaction are not the same. Satisfaction, it's a very important part of pleasure. But satisfaction, it's a combination of many things. But for a total satisfaction, we have to use our 5 senses: sight, sounds, smell, taste, and touch. But also, our brain, our thoughts, our ideas, our desires, and most important, our imagination, plays a very powerful aspect to achieve the total satisfaction and pleasure. Our thoughts, our ideas, our desires, our lust, the forbidden, our aspirations, our ambitions, our dreams, and our imagination are something extremely important. But we can also feel a great feeling of satisfaction when we receiving money, winning in a race, eating, drinking, going to the bathroom, winning in a competence, doing a good job, helping somebody, exercising, eating chocolate, buying the things that we want so much, hearing a good song, giving pleasure to others, overcoming a big problem, etc. And we only use our 5 senses in a sexual interaction. Only then. That's why the feeling and the sensation of satisfaction and pleasure, it's so powerful and intense. For a total satisfaction, We have to use our five senses. Our sight. When we see something beautiful, that we want, that we desire, that we covet. Our hearing. When we hear something beautiful, or sometimes a moan. Our taste. When we taste something delicious and forbidden. Our touch. When we touch the skin of other human being. When we touch the forms and the silhouettes of the person that we desire. When we touch the forbidden. When we feel like if every inch of our skin wants to reach and touch somebody else. And our smell. When we smell and sense something delicious. When we smell and sense the skin of other people. When we smell and sense the pheromones. It looks that if every cell of our body feels. It looks like if every cell that forms our entire body feels by themselves. Also, in the case of mans, they look for physical jobs to do. They like to do physical jobs because they like to feel their strength, their power and the effort. And they will feel an extreme feeling of satisfaction after doing a physical job with a good purpose and a good benefit. They will feel an extremely satisfaction after doing that work because they know that they did it. That they was able to do it by themselves. And that the fatigue and the tiredness that they feel was worthy. After seeing all that they have done and accomplished. They will feel a strong feeling of satisfaction and proud. Mans feel an extremely feel of satisfaction after a hard work. That will benefit them and their families. When they like to do it. Like a sexual relation. Hard work makes man to feel proud and satisfied. Instead of women's who avoid all the physical work. No, every inch of your body. Accept every inch of your body. Feel every inch of your own body. Recognize every inch of your own body. Love every inch of your own body. But maybe for women's to be happier, they should accept that making love, that the penetration, it's what they like the most. That they love it, and to accept that's what gives them more pleasure, fulfillment and satisfaction. Because when they accept it, then they will be a lot more happy with their life. Because acceptance ends the resistance. The concept of pleasure. But what is pleasure? The definition of pleasure, it's the absolute feeling of satisfaction, joy, fulfillment, complacency and gratification caused by a physical interaction, non-physical, and a visual interaction. I know that we immediately think of sex when someone mentions the word pleasure, and in itself, that is one of the greatest ways to feel pleasure. But did you know that there are more than 100 ways to feel pleasure? The 5 actions that make us feel more pleasure are 1. Sexual relations. 2. Eating and drinking something very delicious. 3. Winning and success. 4. Going to the bathroom. 5. Buying the things that we want. Since pleasure releases hormones in our body, such as endorphin, serotonin, adrenaline and oxytocin, which produce an extremely great and very powerful sensation of pleasure. But music, going to the bathroom, scratching, exercising, reading a good book, watching a good movie, taking a good bath, receiving money, winning in a competition, seeing something beautiful, listening to a good song, seeing the rain, traveling, living with a pet, being with your children and your partner, etc. Indeed, there are many ways to feel pleasure, and due to the degree of power that pleasure has in us, that is why we look at all the time. Pleasure, it's what makes us feel alive. And what makes us improve ourselves every day. Let's be honest and realistic, we always look for pleasure in all of their forms. Yes, there are different levels of pleasure. But pleasure, it's pleasure. It looks that if every cell of our body feels. It looks like if every cell that forms our entire body feel by themselves. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill a desire. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill an expectation. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill a dream. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill a necessity. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill a need. Satisfaction, it's to reach an objective. Satisfaction, it's to reach an goal. Satisfaction, it's to have a person. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill something that we want. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill something that we need. Satisfaction, it's to fill what's empty. Satisfaction, it's to fill emptiness. But also, satisfaction, it's to release, to take out what we don't want. Like going to the bathroom. All this makes us feel and powerful feel of satisfaction. Satisfaction, it's to feel full. And buying, it's one of the most powerful ways to feel pleasure and satisfaction. The concept of buy and buying. Buying, it's one of the most powerful way to feel pleasure, proud, satisfaction and fulfillment. Going shopping or buying something on internet triggers an extremely feel of pleasure and satisfaction when we are able to buy something that we want so much. Buying triggers one of the most satisfactory feelings that we can have. The rewards. When we buy something that we like, that we want so much, it's like receiving a reward for our efforts and hard work. That's why it's so satisfying and powerful. Buying gives to us pleasure, satisfaction, complacency, fulfillment, delight, gratification, vindication, joy, and happiness. Buying also makes us feel proud, excited, satisfaction, fulfillment, passion, pleasure, joy, and happiness. Buying the things that we want, that we desire. It's something extremely good for ourselves. Because, when we buy the things that we want so much, that we desire, in our magnificent brain, several barriers and walls crumbles. Because, our brain likes to buy, to have, the things that we want so much, that we desire. And after buying the things that we want so much, that we desire, our brain will look for any way to have and to buy those things that we want, and that makes us feel so good. Our brain will look for the way to earn more money, to buy all the things that we want so much, what we desire. Because buying makes us feel so good. Buying makes us feel so much pleasure and satisfaction. That's why our own brain will look for the way to earn more money, to improve ourselves in our job, to work harder, and to earn a lot more money, to buy the things that makes us feel happy, to buy the things that we deserve. Satisfaction, it's to fulfill a desire. Buying gives us a powerful feel of satisfaction because we are fulfilling a dream, a desire, a necessity, and an emptiness. We buy the things that we need to live, like food, water, drinks, vegetables, etc., because we need that to lives. But we also buy the things that we want to feel happy, even if they are not necessary. The concept of moments, momentums. But what are moments and momentums? Our life, it's made of moments, momentums. But what are moments and momentums? The definition of moments is a part, a breach, a section, a lapse, a segment on time, and specific segment of time in our lives and in the entire universe. Life, it's made of moments, of momentums. Every one of us has good and bad moments. But I know that depending on the social class that you have, that depends on the number of good and bad moments. I will say that are 4 social classes, and depending of that, it's the number of good and bad moments. Extreme poverty. On this social class, without doubt, the number of bad moments overpasses by much the good moments, because the people who lives in extreme poverty suffers too much of poverty, lacks hunger, violence, mistreatment, exploitation, hard work, and the lack of almost everything. The good moments that they have are so few, because they can't even sleep well at night. On this level, the bad moments overpasses by much of the good moments. There it's almost not a good moment in their day by day. There it's almost not a single good moment in their day by day, because they doesn't even have a home to get. Unfortunately, there are millions of people who doesn't even have a house to live, that they live in boxes or even in caves, full of insects and animals, and that they don't even have a bed and a blanket for the intense cold, that they can't even sleep well at night because they have to be alert of insects and bad people who tries to steal them. They live in terrible situations. Millions of people lives in war zones, and they suffer of violence and fear, all day and all night. All the time. They suffer too much. They can't buy even something to eat. And for millions of people, they live in zones, where there's no food or something to eat. And even so, they are the ones who have the most sons and daughters. And it's something terrible, that they have so many sons and daughters. Even knowing of their terrible situation, they have so many sons and daughters. It should be a crime, to bring them only to suffer. But this can be understandable, because as they really don't have any good moments on their day-to-day. That's why, they look in sexual relations. A way to feel better. A way to forget their terrible situation. A way to escape from their reality. A good moment. A way to feel pleasure, at least for a while. A little moment of pleasure. But they obviously do not use anything to avoid having childrens. But even so, they should not have any childrens. Because that's a selfish and a cruel act, to bring childrens, if they know of the terrible situation that they have. To have more childrens only to suffer? The people who lives on this level of extreme poverty almost never have a single good moment. The amount of bad moments are extremely high. They doesn't even have a good moment in their day. They are not happy. Think about them. Every time that you complain. Poverty. On this social class, people suffers of poverty, violence, mistreatment, hard work and the lack of opportunities. But they have a house and they can eat well, and they are able to buy some things. They have good moments. But their good moments are not so many. On this level, people has a big number of sons and daughters. And I don't understand why. It's something so absurd and stupid, that the poor people, the people who cannot provide good things to their sons and daughters, are the ones who has more childrens. And the middle class and wealthy people, who are the ones that can provide a good life to their sons and daughters, are the ones who doesn't really want to have sons and daughters. That it's so absurd. Because they have more bad moments than good moments. Medium social class. On this level, people have a good job and they don't suffers too much of hunger or lacks. On this level, people have access to education and training, which helps them to improve their jobs and the opportunity to improve themselves and their families. On this level, people doesn't really want to have childrens, they prefer the life that they have, without having responsibilities. To spend and enjoy the money that they earn, on themselves. On this case, medium-class people, has the same amount of good moments that bad moments. The rich and wealthy people, also have bad moments. But yes, I know that they have some few bad moments, and a lot more of good moments than bad moments. A lot more. And yes, I know that poor people, have a lot more bad moments than good moments. A lot more. Because we suffer too much of hunger, mistreatment, lacks, poverty and a lot of bad moments. We have a lot more bad moments than good moments. A lot more. And I can't understand why. But even so, we need to learn how to identify and treasure those good moments. Yes, I know that there are millions of people who suffers too much. But you have to know what is your situation. On which level are you? Don't exaggerate your current situation. Don't be dramatic. Don't be so dramatic. Don't overthink too much. Learn to recognize the good moments, the good momentums that you have. And treasure them. It's true that we humans measure our happiness through our sorrows and sadness. This means that the most that you suffer, the most that you can be happy. Be grateful and thankful. And you will receive a lot more. One of the most powerful and effective ways to thanks. It's that after you receive a bonus, a raise or the money that you wanted so much. Find a place alone, and raise your hands to the sky. And dance, feel the excitement, let that the excitement, the excitation, the thrill, out of you. Yes, I know that you don't want that your colleagues to see you. Because you don't want to be presumptuous and arrogant. But never, never, deny, keep and hide your emotions. And with this, you will attract a lot more good things for you into your life. The happy people knows how to recognize and treasure all those many or few good moments that they have. Those good momentums. Let's say that the rich and wealthy people change their iPhones every time that a new one is available. They just bought the new iPhone 15 Pro Max, and they say like, okay, I have the new iPhone 15 Pro Max. They feel satisfied, but not very happy. But let's say that for the people on poverty, extreme poverty and middle class, if we can have that same iPhone 15 Pro Max, we will have an extreme level of joy, happiness and satisfaction. The level of joy and happiness that we will feel would be extremely high. We will feel, maybe like a 100 times more happy, to have the new iPhone 15 Pro Max, than the rich and wealthy people. Because they are so used to good things, that, maybe, they have lost the ability to appreciate the good things that they have. They feel satisfied, but not extremely happy. Let's say that in a rich and wealthy family, the son asks his mother what they are going to have for dinner. And his mother tells him that they are going to have T-bone with French fries, a salad and chocolate cake for dessert. And the son says to his mother, "Are we going to eat a T-bone again? I am tired and jaded of eating T-bone, French fries, a salad and chocolate cake." But let's say that in a poor and middle-class family, the mom tells them that she makes steaks with French fries for dinner. This will cause in their family an extreme feeling of joy, happiness and satisfaction. And they will feel, maybe like a 100 times more happy than the rich and wealthy people. Let's say that in a rich and wealthy family, the father tells the family that they are going to go on vacation to Europe, UK, Spain, Switzerland and Italy for 1 month on the best hotels. But let's say that their sons and daughters tell to their father, "Are we going to Europe again? Again? I don't want to go. It's too much time, and I don't want to go again to Europe, and you are not going to force me to go to Europe on vacations." But let's say that in a poor and middle-class family, the father gets a loan that he will pay like in 5 years. And he gets home with a lot of joy, and tell to his sons and daughters that they are going on vacation to the beach for 5 days. That they will not going to stay on the best hotel, but that they will go to a nice hotel for 5 days. This will cause on his family an extreme feeling of joy, happiness and excitement. Maybe like 100 times more than the wealthy and rich family. And there are hundreds of examples that I can give you. But what do this means? It could be maybe that money does not really give happiness. It could be that maybe it doesn't matter what social class we are, even so, we can be happy. It could be that maybe what we need to be happy is to change the way that we think. This means that the wealthy and rich people are so used to very good things that maybe they don't know how to appreciate them. It could be that, maybe, even if money is a very important aspect to happiness, that maybe, even if we don't have a lot of money, even so, we can be happy. It could be that, maybe, to reach happiness, we, first, have to change our way of thinking and the way that we see this world. Maybe, it could be like this example. If you are asking to be rich, it's because you feel poor. You surely think, "I have a good house, but it is not on the hills. I have a nice car, but it is not a Ferrari 2024. I have a good wife, but she's not Megan Fox or a superstar. I have 3 children, but I do not have freedom." And if you think like this, then you will never be happy. Then you will never receive what you want, since even though ambition it's good, but greed and avarice are bad. But it's worse that you do not know, appreciate and be thankful for what you already have. If you appreciate, recognize and be thankful for what you already have and with who you already are, it's the only way to receive what you want so much. Since only in this way, your mind will enter a state of acceptance and gratitude. And acceptance ends resistance. And only then will flow to you everything that you want, like water. If you think like this, "I do not have a house in the hills, but I do have a beautiful house." Thank you. I do not have a Ferrari 2024, but I do have a good car that takes me everywhere. Thank you. I am not married to Megan Fox or a superstar, but I do have a good wife who loves me, and that I love so very much. Thank you. I do not have freedom, but I do have 3 children that I love so very much. Thank you. See. That maybe, that we can be happy, not matter the social class that we are. That we measure our happiness through our sadness and our lacks. In the case of the wealthiest and rich families, they are so used to good things, that they're not appreciated them. But in the case of the poor and middle class families, we have so much shortages, lacks, and so many bad moments, that when we receive something good, it makes us feel extremely happy and joyful. Because we are not used to have good things. And that makes us capable to identify, recognize and appreciate a lot more. The few good moments that we have. More than the rich and wealthy people. A lot more. Maybe the objective of life is to be happy. And the feelings that the poor and middle class people feel when they receive good things. It could be like 100 times more powerful than the feelings and happiness of the wealthiest and rich people. So, it could be that maybe poor and middle class people could be happier than the rich people? But anyway, you can be very happy, but you have to be aware, recognize, seize and treasure the good moments that you have. Enjoy them, don't think about bad things. It's like the ideology of the camel. Camels live in the hardest and harsher zones of the planet. That's why, when they find water, they fill their humps with water because they don't know when they are going to find water again. This means that enjoy all the good moments that you have, seize them, treasure them, don't think about bad things. Because you don't know when you will have some good moments again. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy that momentum. Because believe it or not, there are rich and wealthy people who are not happy. There are rich and wealthy people who do not feel happy. If you want to be happy, then you need to be aware and to appreciate what you already have. Unfortunately, there are people who lives in extreme poverty, that they do not have even a house or something to eat. That they suffer too much. All the time. You have to be realistic and to not be so dramatic. Unfortunately, there are not 1 or 2 or 10, there are millions of people who lives in extreme poverty. There are millions of people who lives in war zones. And you should take this like a counterweight when you complain and when you feel bad, sad and desperate. For you to know where you are standing, you need to be sincere and realistic about your current situation.
You have to be fair to yourself.
You have to be truthful to yourself. You have to be realistic.
Do not overthink your problems so much.
Don't be dramatic. Don't be so dramatic. Stop the drama. Our mind tends to exaggerate. You have to be thankful and grateful for what you already have. Thank God, the universe or whoever you want. But be thankful and grateful. Always, always. You need to know what you already have. You need to appreciate what you already have. Yes, always look for more. But first, be aware, appreciate and be thankful for what you already have. Thanks to the universe, to God, to yourself, or whoever that you want. But be thankful. Be grateful to yourself, to God, to the universe, or to whoever you want. But be grateful. But even so, on the social class that you are, even so, you can be happy. You need to be aware, recognize and treasure all the good moments that you have. Happy people are the ones who know how to recognize, seize, and treasure all those good momentums. Even if they are poor or not. Even so. Recognize, seize, appreciate and treasure all the good moments that you have. And always look for more good moments for yourself and for your loved ones. Always. Even in the most terrible situations. There are good moments, even so. Recognize, seize, appreciate and treasure all the few or many good moments that you have. And always look for more. The rose that blooms in the most adverse and terrible situation. It's the most beautiful of all. Be thankful and grateful. Thank God, to the universe or to whoever you want. But be thankful, always. Happiness, it's when you have an extremely feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. Having a good mind. And the gender and the body that we want. Will makes us very, very happy. I mean, that if we could have all the things that the wealthy and rich people has, we will appreciate them and treasure them, maybe 100 times more than the rich and wealthy people. Because we have so many lacks and shortages. And that's why we will appreciate them and treasure a lot more. We will be extremely happy, thankful and joyful. If we have those things that they don't treasure. The concept of I don't want to do it, or I cannot do it. But what I can do, or not. You have to be extremely realistic and sincere with yourself. About I can do it. But I do not want to do it. About I want to do it. But I can't do it. About I want it. Or I need it. About I can do that. But I should not do that. About I want it. Or I don't want it. About I can't do that. But I want to do it. About yes, I can do that. Or yes, I can do that, but I don't want to do it right now. I can. But I don't want to do it. You have to be congruent with yourself. You have to be congruent with your thoughts. You need to be congruent with your feelings. You have to be congruent with your emotions. Your words and your actions have to be congruent with your thoughts, with your feelings, and with your emotions. The concept of miracles. But what are miracles? The definition of miracle is a highly improbable or extraordinary event, development, or accomplishment that happens without a clear explanation, despite our logic and our experiences. An effect or extraordinary event in the physical world that surpasses all known human or natural powers and is ascribed to a supernatural or divine cause. An extraordinary and astonishing happening that is attributed to the presence and action of an ultimate or divine intervention. Miracles are those things that seems impossible, but that they still happen. And even if you don't believe it, you are the one who makes that miracles happens. You make that miracles come true. Yourself. Through the powerful strength and energy from your faith and your hope, which we root through saints, symbols, amulets and objects. Humans sometimes need a symbol to root our energy. And it can be the most beautiful and fancy statue or image in the world, made of the finest marble and gold on earth, covered with jewels and the most precious stones in the world. Or it could be a simple rock. It will depend on you, on the strength, force, power and the energy that you give to that rock. If you believe. Look for your symbol, look for your image, look for your amulet, to canalize your huge and powerful energy and strength. Look for your symbol, look for your image, look for your amulet, so that you can canalize all of your huge and powerful energy and strength. Sometimes, when we give up completely, that's when miracles happens. It's like the placebos, it will only works if you completely and absolutely believe that it will work. Then, it will work. If you absolutely and completely and without doubt believe that it will work, then, it will work. It depends on you. It only depends on you. It depends on your brain. But it is you, yourself, the one who makes that miracles happens. Yourself. We are the one who makes them a reality. Ourselves. You. You are the one who makes that miracles happens. Only you. Only your brain. Only yourself. But, yes, I know that many, many times, we try to fix, to repair, to settle and to arrange our own problems by ourselves. We don't look for help. We try to prove to ourselves that we can do it. And this is okay. But sometimes, we need the help from others. Sometimes, even if we have the will to do it. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes we need to accept that we can't do it. But sometimes, when you give up completely, that's when miracles happens.
Because acceptance ends resistance.
And when you give up completely, you are accepting that you can't do it. Then you end the resistance. And then it's when good and marvelous things will come into your life. Because there it's no more resistance. Sometimes when you give up completely, that's when miracles happens. When you completely and absolutely gives up, that's when miracles happen. Because you accept that you can't do it. And the acceptance ends the resistance. And then all good things will come to your life. Because there is no more resistance. Miracles always are attributable to God or a divine intervention. We never believe that we are capable to perform the miracles. But the word miracle, it's a very hard to describe word. For some people, opening the water faucet and that the water to flow, it's a miracle. For some people, electricity, the lights, the elevators, TV, computers, the subway and our smartphones are a miracle. For some people, the conception and the birth of a human and all living creature, it's a miracle. For some people, to sow a seed and see it grows, and to produce oranges and the fruit that we eat, it's a miracle. So, as you can see, every day we witness a lot of miracles that we do not consider as miracles. There are so many incredible things, events and happenings every day that we do not consider them as miracles. There are a lot of things and inventions made by man that are, really, miracles. Because the word miracle refers to something that it's impossible and not likely to happen. The word miracle refers to something that we want but that we think it's impossible for us. Or that we really don't find the way to do it, to obtain it, to make it a reality. Sometimes we don't know how to. But this doesn't mean that we can't. And that's why we ask for the intervention of God or a divine being to obtain what we want so much. Because we really don't find a way to do it. That's why the word miracle, it's ascribed to the intervention of God or a divine being. But it's really impossible for us to perform miracles? Truly, we have to consider all the wonderful and magnificent constructions and inventions that we have created. To God or a divine being, we have to ascribe all the music, all the literature, all the paintings, all the sculptures and all the beautiful artwork to God or a divine being. Are we not able to create and perform miracles by ourselves? Really? Truly, you think that we are not able to create miracles? Truly? We humans are able to perform and create miracles. Our brain, it's able and capable to perform and to create miracles. Maybe because we are holy and divine beings. Just as God, we humans are able to perform and create miracles. Our brain, it's able and capable to perform and to create miracles. Life itself, it's a miracle. This wonderful and magnificent planet, it's truly a miracle. Life itself, it's a miracle. Our mind will always find the way. Our brain will always find the way. Always. One way of another. Ourselves, our brain, will always find the way to make that miracles to come true. One way or another. Always. The concept of patience. But what is the patience? The patience, it's something very important to reach the happiness. The definition of patience is the ability to stay calm. To wait and accept a delay or something annoying without complaining. Patience, it's something hard, but necessary to reach and to achieve happiness. It's like when you want to have a tree that gives you oranges. First, you need to sow the seed. And then, you need to water that seed every day. And you need to be constant, consistent. Because, if you water that seed 100 days, but if you miss 3 days, then all your efforts will not work, only for those 3 days. And even if you have a lot of money and power, you have to be patient. Because that seed needs time and water to grow. But then, when the seed grows and gives you oranges, then your patience and your efforts will be rewarded. And this happens in a lot of cases in our life. There are some things that need patience. There are some things that need time. And also to be constant and consistent. Everything you do in a hurry and without care will always go wrong. But everything that you do, with patience and with care, will always go right. The patience can make us to not commit something absurd and stupid that can affect us all of our life. Let's say that you have work a lot, and you ask for a loan, because you are very anxious to buy a car. You are in a rush to buy the car that you want so much. And you see a car in the newspaper that has an extremely good price. But it doesn't seems very trustable. And you call the seller, and he say that he will show you the car, but that you have to bring the money in cash. But you are in a rush and anxious to have that car. And even if all seems like a fraud and scam, even so, you take your money in cash and you go to see the car. Even so, because you are not patient. And you go to see the car with your cash money. And the seller shows you the paperwork of the car. But you feel that something it's not right. And even so, you take your money and buy that car. But a few days later, you are driving the car, but the police stops you. And they ask you for your registration and the car papers. And a few minutes later, the police arrest you. Because the car that you bought, even feeling that something wasn't right, it's a stolen car. And the invoice and all the paperwork if the car, it's fake. And they arrest you. You lose all your money. You also need to pay the installments of the loan for the car, and you will spend 1 year on the jail. All because you was no patience. You was so anxious and in a rush to buy that car that you didn't have the patience to check and to confirm that all the paperwork was genuine and legal. If you, the concept of constant and consistency. But how to be constant and consistent? The definition of constant is the ability and the need to perform a certain task repeatedly and on the same way. To achieve and to obtain something that by his nature required in specific time to grow and to form. Be constant. It's extremely important to achieve and to obtain certain things that by his nature required in specific time to grow and to form. Been constant and patience to achieve and receive something useful that you want. But this also applies to an objective. Something that you want so much. Even if it's something hard. Let's say that you want to learn another language. But you start to taking the lessons. But if in the middle of the course you give up, then you will not learn that language at all. You need to be constant and patient to learn that language. On the case of exercising, going to the gym. You are exercising because you want to be strong, to cause fear in others, and for the women to like you, and that they want to be with you. And these are good reasons and a good purpose. But when you start to go to the gym, you see that it's very hard, and that you will need a lot of time and effort to become stronger. And that you need to be very constant and patient to have the body that you want so much. And maybe you want to give up after seeing how hard it is. And that's the difference between ordinary people and the successful and winning people. Yes, it is hard and even painful, but the objective and the reward will be huge. The normal and ordinary people gives up very easily. Successful and winning people never gives up. Never. That's why they are rich and millionaires. Winning and successful people has very defined objectives. And even if they know that they are hard and even painful, they are willing to do everything that it takes to obtain them. Whatever it takes. And they will never give up. Never. Until they reach it. Because, even if it is hard and even painful, even so, they are constant and patient until they achieve it. It could be very hard, but never impossible. Never. The reason and the purpose of the consistency. It's to obtain and to acquire something that it's not very likely. Something that it's not easy. Something hard. Something difficult. Something special. Something that we want a lot. Be persistent. And when you'll achieve it and obtain them, you will feel so proud, special, satisfied, stronger, and joyful about yourself. And after seeing what you have accomplished, then you will feel that there is nothing that you can't do. Nothing. you will feel invincible. Because, even if that was so hard and difficult, even so, you did it, you obtained it, you acquire it. But, to obtain it and to acquire it, you have to be aware of all the reasons, the purpose and the benefits, of that thing that you want so much. You have to accept, and to be aware, of how hard and difficult would it be to achieve it. But never impossible. And, you need to be constant and patient. And, you will achieve it. Always. You need to be constant, consistent, patient, persistent, brave, strong, smart, and intelligent to achieve all that you want. An object, an objective, a goal, a person, and everything that you want. It could be very hard, but never impossible. Never. The concept of persistency, determination, and stubborn. But what is the persistency, the determination, and being stubborn? The definition of persistency, determination, and stubborn is continuing firmly and obstinately in a course of action, despite of the difficulty and the opposition. Firmly, continuing with a job or an action. Persistence, it's be stubborn. Stubborn, it's to be determined. So, these three words are the same. Just as been constant and consistent, persistent, stubborn, and determined. It's the way to achieve and obtain all that we want. An object, a thing, an objective, a goal, a person, and a dream. I do not know why the majority of people are jealous when somebody has a dream. It looks that, if the society instead of support and boost the people who has a good idea, a dream and a project, instead of support them, they try to discourage them. It's incredible that most of people tries to discourage the people who wants to get ahead in life. And that's when been determined, consistent, persistent, and been stubborn. It's the only way to achieve all of our goals and dreams. It's what will make us overcome the critics and the bad comments from others. It's incredible that the people who supposed to help us are the ones who tries to discourage us. That the people that's supposed to cheer us up, they the ones who tries to quit our dreams. And that's why we have to be determined, consistent, persistent, and stubborn. You should not care what others say and think about you. You don't have to care what others say and think about yourself. Never. You need to focus and concentrate only in your dreams and your goals. You have to focus and concentrate only on your dreams and your goals. If you want to reach all of your dreams and your goals, then you have to stop worrying and caring about what others say about you. Be determined, consistent, persistent, and stubborn. It's to not care about what others say and think about ourselves. Focus and concentrate only on your dreams, only on your objectives, and only on your goals. Only on that. The richest and wealthy people on the world never gives up on their dreams. There always have been determined, consistent, persistent, and stubborn. If somebody tells you to quit your dreams and your goals, it's because that person has already quit his dreams and his goals. And he wants you to quit your dreams and your goals. To become a loser as he. Never, ever allow it. Never. Be strong, determined, consistent, persistent, smart, intelligent, and stubborn. With your dreams and your goals. Always. In every situation. And with whoever you are with. Always. And you will achieve and obtain everything that you want. Everything. Absolutely everything. The concept of point of view and a perspective. But what is a point of view and a perspective? The definition of a point of view and a perspective is a different way to see, to understand, and to appreciate an obvious event, happening, and a situation. A different view and perspective of an idea, thought, invention, plan, and a project. This means that each one of us appreciate and understand the world in a different way. We all see the world the same. But we appreciate it and understand it different. Of course that they are events and happenings that are undeniable. Like, if it is day or night. That the earth is round. These are undeniable events and happenings. Because we are seeing the same. I mean, that there are absolute evidences and proofs. But, for the ideas, thoughts, orders and commands, there are not an absolute true. Yes, they are undeniable events and happenings. But, there are thousands of events that are not absolute. Like the ideas, the thoughts, the plans, projects, the orders and the commands. Each one of us have a different perspective and understanding. Maybe what for some it's good. Surely for us, it is not. And, also when we see the things on the street in general in all the world. If you are driving the highest that you or sit, you will have a better view of the street and the other cars. If you work in a high building, as higher that you are, you will have a better view of all the city. If you are walking in the street, the more attention that you pay to the street, to the people, to the cars, and to all, the best view and appreciation that you will have. Also, if you are tall, then you will have a better view of all. And this means that the best view that we have, it will help us to take the best decision. But also, if you have a higher, smart and more intelligent point of view, then you will be able to see first than the others. I mean, that if you are more smart, wise and intelligent than the others, then you will see what others doesn't see. If you are planning a project, and if you are more smart, wise and intelligent than the others, then you will be able to see far than the others. You will see what others are not seeing. And you will be able to contribute a lot to that project. A lot more. I mean, that the most intelligent, smart and wise that you are, the best point of view and the better appreciation that you will have. Our point of view, it's extremely important. Because you need to be aware that you are seeing the world from your own eyes. From inside of you. That you are seeing and hearing the world from you. From inside of you. From yourself. That you are feeling, appreciating and seeing the world from yourself. From you. From inside you. From your brain. You are not seeing the world from somebody else. No. You are seeing, feeling, understanding and appreciating all the world from you. From inside of you. From yourself. From your own magnificent brain. That you are you. That you are not somebody else. That you are you. That all that you think. That all that you feel. That all that you plan. That all that you want. That all that you dream. That all that you fear. That all that you suffer. That all your happiness. It's really inside of you. It's really inside you. Of yourself. Inside you. That you are really you. That you are not somebody else. That you are really you. Let's say that we put 100 people around a big, leaf and beautiful tree. Every one of them will see that beautiful tree from his own point of view, from their own perspective. That no one is seeing that beautiful tree the same. That each one of us are seeing that tree with our own eyes. That each one of us are seeing that beautiful tree from our own mind. That each one of us are seeing, living, perceiving and appreciate life. Since ourselves. From ourselves. From our eyes. From our own mind. And that our point of view. It's our perception. It's our own point of view. And I know that after hearing and understanding this, you will feel very lonely in the universe. But it's not. Because you are with you. The concept of thinking. But how do we think? But what do we think? Our wonderful brain process all the information like a computer or smartphone to deliver a result, a decision, a verdict, a word and action and a movement, a thought, an image. Our brain process all the information that receives from our 6 senses. But the difference to a computer and a smartphone, it's that Our brain processes all the information to deliver a decision, a word, an action, a movement, a feeling, and an emotion. And an image. The computers and smartphones thinks logically. But our magnificent brain thinks logically, sentimentality, and emotionally. Our brain processes all the information that he receives and delivers. A result, a decision, a verdict, a word, a desire, a movement, an action, a feeling, an expectation, an emotion, and an image. And this it's something a lot more complex than the computers and smartphones. Because unlike a computer or smartphone, our brain has to think logically, sentimentality and emotionally. And the computers and smartphones only thinks logically. Yes, the computers and smartphones works with electric pulses, just as our brain and our entire body. But our brain also creates and release chemical substances as adrenaline, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin and endorphins. And these chemical substances allow us to feel pleasure and pain. But we still use electric pulses to think and to move, just as the computers and smartphones. And as the computers and smartphones, we also communicate with others in an extrasensorial way. The smartphones communicate with other devices through electric pulses sensed through their antenna. We also communicate with others through electric pulses generated by our own brain. Sensed by our brain. Believe it or not. Our brain communicates with other living beings through electric pulses sensed through our brain throughout our body. Our brain.
Communicate with others through electric pulses.
Our brain communicates with everything through electric pulses. All the time, all the time. Our brain communicates with all living creatures through electric pulses. Our brain communicates with all the electronic devices and objects through electric pulses. Our brain generates radio signals and communicates to all the things in the universe through electric pulses from our magnificent brain. All the time, all the time. We send and receive. We receive and sends. All the time, all the time. It's really not so hard to understand this. Our smartphone uses 5 watts, and it's capable to communicate with other devices, and to communicate with other people and devices, even in the other side of the world. Our own body generates more than 600 watts of electricity. So, this means that we can communicate with somebody else, even in the other side of the universe. When you turn on your smartphone, it receives information through electric impulses. Through radio signals. Like a message, a WhatsApp or an email. And you send the answer and information through electric pulses into the antenna of your smartphone, to the antenna of others. We do the same. All the time. We also received and sends information through electric pulses through our antenna. Through our entire body. Our body is formed with more than 80% of water and salt, and the water transmits electricity. So, our entire body function as a big antenna. We send radio signals. All the time, all the time, all the time. Even when we sleep. Even when we sleep. Our entire body, it's formed with cells, water and salt. The computers and all the objects are formed of molecules. Our cells dies, but also creates and reproduces themselves. Our cells and neurons cure themselves and reproduce themselves. The molecules doesn't die, but they can't grow, and they can't reproduce themselves. Our cells reacts in a very powerful and special way to the chemical and electric pulses that our brain generate and sends. Our cells reacts in a very powerful and special way to the chemical and electric stimulus that our brain generates and sends. It's like of each and every cell of our body. Feels by themselves. We communicate to others with words, body signals and with electric signals. Like radio signals from our brain. We communicate with others through electric pulses, electric signals from our body. Like radio signals generate and sends from our brain. And all this means that we communicate with all the objects and living creatures with speaking words. body signals, writing symbols, but most important, with radio signals generated by our own brain, and send it through our entire body, all the time, even if we don't say them. Only by thinking them, we are sending them. Through radio signals from our own brain, we are communicating with all the objects and living creatures on this planet, and through all the entire universe. Believe it or not. That's why they said that be careful with what you think. Because, even if you don't say it, only by thinking them, you are transmitting them. And you are attracting them to your life. The concept of our rewards center. But what are rewards, and why we seek them all the time? Let's be honest with ourselves. We are always looking for a compensation for our efforts, work, and actions. A reward. And in our brain we have like a rewards center. That it's activate every time that we receive a reward, a compensation. We work to receive a compensation. Our rewards center release chemical substances like adrenaline, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Every time that we receive a gift, a reward, and a compensation. Every time. Rewards, it's one of the most important part of pleasure and satisfaction. And the rewards cause in us an extremely and powerful feeling of satisfaction and pleasure. It seems that every cell of our body feels. And there are a lot of rewards. Physical, sexual, spoken, material, and even in an extrasensorial way. We can receive many types of rewards. It could be a material reward as money, a thing, a surprise box, a gift box, a hug, a physical interaction, a sexual interaction, a kind word, an inspiring word, or a thank you, etc. And these rewards are very important to ourselves and to our self-confidence. To our brain. The rewards provoke in us an extremely and powerful feeling of satisfaction, joy, fulfillment, and pleasure. That's why we look for rewards all the time. Buying, it's one of the most powerful feeling of pleasure and satisfaction. When we buy the things that we want so much. Buying, it's one of the most powerful feelings and emotions that we can feel. To buy makes us feel extremely happy and satisfied. Buying gives us pleasure, satisfaction, fulfillment, pride, motivations, happiness, joy, excitement, illusion, frenzy, furor, hysteria, passion, thrill, and excitation, such as making love. The same as a sexual interaction. It's amazing. Because our brain has already created great expectations, illusions, and plans for the things that we are going to buy. I mean, that in our mind, we already think and visualize what we are going to do with the things that we are going to buy. How good and sexy I'm going to look with my new red dress. How am I going to look? How does the people are going to turn around to see me? How many compliments I'm going to receive for my new clothes? How pretty and sexy I'm going to look with the new makeup that I bought. How does the people it's going to envy me for the new car that I bought. How fast and how many games I'm going to play with my new PS5. How easy and fast I'm going to repair and build with the new electric tools that I bought. How good I'm going to rest in the new mattress that I bought. Etc. To buy. To acquire. To have. In our mind, we have already created so many visualizations for the things that we are going to buy. From the image of what we are going to buy. And all these illusions are so powerful because they are visualizations. I mean, that we are not only thinking, we are feeling the emotions and the excitement as we already have what we are going to buy. We are feeling as we already have them. And that's the incredible power of our own powerful imagination. It's amazing. Let's more. The concept of our emotions. Our emotions are happiness, joy, excitement, preferences, sexual preferences, proud, frenzy, furor, passion, braveness, fury, anger, disappointing, courage, calm, peace, hope, faith, anxiety, shame, enthusiastic, shyness, euphoric, lust, sensuality, greed, ambitious, erotic, libidinous, anxious, fear, hate, and love. Always let that all of your emotions and feelings to flow. Never, never repress them. Never, never deny them. Never, never ignore them. Never, never reject them. Never, never refuse them. Never, never suppress them. Never. It doesn't matter what they are. Never repress them. Never deny them. Never ignore them. Never reject them. Never refuse them. Never suppress them. Never. It doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter. Because that's what you are. Because if you deny your own feelings and emotions, it's like if you are denying yourself. It's like if you are denying who you really are. We spend a lot of our life. We spend a lot of our time rejecting and denying our own feelings and emotions. But why? And this it's something understandable. Because of the society. I'm very glad that in this modern times, people are breaking the society chains. People are waking. There is a mind liberation. A new mind freedom. I'm impulsing a new mind liberation. Impulsing a new mind freedom. A new way of thinking and feeling. A new way of feeling and thinking. I'm not saying that this mind liberation and freedom it's all good. Because there must always be decency and honor. But it's very good that a lot of the past taboos and so absurd and stupid ideas are disappearing. Because we are thoughts. Because we are feelings. Because we are emotions. I mean that for many, this new mind freedom would be to the outside. But for many, will be internally, within ourselves. But it will be a mind freedom and liberation. And that for many, they would like to show the sexual freedom to everybody. But that's not good. They have to be decent and orderliness. We don't have to tolerate acts of indecency. We'll never accept and tolerate indecent acts. But this new mind freedom and liberation, it's something extremely good. Feel and think. Always. You have to be smart and intelligent. The concept of anxiety, anguish and stress. These three feelings are one of the worst problems in our times. More than ever in human history. Your mental peace and health. It's the most important. But how to have a mental health and peace? These are the 100 steps to reach happiness. Don't leave unfinished works. Don't leave pendings. Solve all of your doubts. All of them. Don't be dramatic. Do not overthink too much. Do not overreact too much. Don't focus only on your problems. Don't watch ugly and sad things. Don't watch news. Have a job that you love. Focus on the good things you have. Focus on good memories. Focus on good things. Concentrate on the good things you have. Concentrate on your good memories. Concentrate on good things. Eat and drink the things that you like the most. Listen to good and happy music. Listen to the music that you like. Listen to the music that makes you feel good and happy. Listen to the music that gives you pleasure. Never take the problems of others into your house. Never. Don't use drugs. Don't drink alcohol. Drink water. Think solutions. Don't create great expectations. Accept who you are and what you like. Accept your tastes and preferences. Accept your tastes and your preferences. Don't deny to yourself what you really like. What makes you feel good and happy. Never ever deny to yourself your feelings and your emotions. Never ever deny to yourself what gives you pleasure. Never deny to yourself how do you really feel. Never. Feel good with yourself. Feel good about yourself. Do the things that gives you pleasure. Know and accept your current aptitudes, skills, abilities, talents, and wisdom, if any. Do not create false and unrealistic expectations. Learn everything. Teach. Create expectations according to your aptitudes, skills, abilities, wisdom, and talents, if any. Use love more than the hate and the fear. Appreciate the beauty and marvels of this beautiful and magnificent planet. Enjoy the beauty and all the things that this magnificent and beautiful planet have. Enjoy more. Enjoy a lot more. Try to be very happy with less. Accept yourself. Accept the way that you look. If you are ugly, accept it. If you are pretty, accept it. If you are fat, accept it. If you are stupid, accept it. If you are skinny, accept it. If you are weak, accept it. Accept yourself. Be brave. Be strong. Be smart. Be intelligent. Be honest. Be decent. Be fair. Be honorable. Be extraordinary. Help others. Don't do bad things. Don't risk your life doing dangerous, absurd, and stupid things. Do not get into absurd fights. Do not steal. Take care of your own body. Don't get sick. Cure yourself. Exercise your own body. Walk a lot. Keep your body clean. Keep yourself clean. Expect good things. Always. Enjoy the heat. Enjoy the rain. Enjoy the wind. Enjoy the cold. Enjoy all weather. Don't tell lies to yourself. Don't smoke. Do not tell lies. Help others. Do not hurt animals. Do not hurt little animals. Do not hurt your family. Do not hurt your mom. Do not hurt your wife. Do not hurt your sons and daughters. Do not hurt your loved ones. Be honest. Be honest to yourself and to others. Always tell the truth. No matter what it is. The bitter truth, it's better than 100 sweet little lies. Do not lie to yourself. Always tell yourself the truth. Do not betray. Do not betray yourself. Admire and enjoy the sunrise and the dawn. Allow that good things to happen. Allow good things to happen to you. Breathe deeply. Breathe more. Love more. Hug more. Say, I love you, a lot more. Help more. Feel more. Enjoy more. Relax more. Dream more. Visualize more. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the momentums. Enjoy life. Enjoy this world. Imagine more. Feel more. Love more. Always think. Think always. Feel always. Always feel. Always. It looks like that our own feelings are a lot more powerful than our thoughts. I mean, that if you say, I think that everything will be okay. It's not as powerful as, I feel that everything will be okay. It's not the same. To be happy, it has to be a communion between our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our words, and our actions. A communion between our heart and our brain. Know yourself. Live. It is as if God were inside our brain. Or it's like if our brain it's God. Or it is as if we were gods and goddesses. We are just as important as God. We are equally important as God. To the monumental, powerful, and wonderful force of life. Just like God. We are not less important than God. Our brain not only controls our body. It is as if our brain is connected to this magnificent planet and to the entire universe. When we understand and accept that, we are not only the clothes that we wear, the car that we drive, the appearance of our face and body, what we own, or what we do not have. That we are so much more than that. That we really are divine energy beings with a physical body. Then we will be very happy. Then, we can have absolutely everything that we want. Everything. Absolutely everything. Our brain it's Holly. The beauty of a woman. Causes. Anxiety. Anguish. Jealousy. Envy. And a lot of bad feelings. Truly, envy and jealous, it's one of the most terrible, absurd and stupid feeling. Because, the only one damage, the only one hurt. It's you. Only you. Nobody else. Only you. Our heart, our brain, our mind and our subconscious are holy. And that we are connected with this entire and wonderful planet, and to all the life on the entire universe. That we are connected to this wonderful and magnificent planet. And to the entire universe. Then we could achieve everything. Also, it's extremely important that you feel good, satisfied and proud about your body. About yourself. The concept of the excitement. But what is the excitement that we feel? The emotions and the excitement are extremely powerful. And it's created with the anxiety, rush, imagination and experiences. Let's say that you are going to eat in your favorite restaurant. And on the way there, you feel extremely excited, anxious and in a rush to get there. To feel the taste of the food. Because the food of that restaurant it's very good, and you love it. And even if you have not get there, you already feel the taste, the flavor, and the smell of that food. Even if you have not get to the restaurant yet. You are feeling like if you already eating that delicious food. But how? How do you feel the taste on your mouth, the flavor of the food in your nose, if you haven't reached the restaurant yet? How? And this is because of the incredible power of our own imagination. Our imagination, our brain, can create the feelings, the tastes, the smells and the satisfaction. Even if you are not eating that food. Even without a physical interaction. It's amazing. And after learning the concepts of how do we think and how do we feel, we came to, maybe the most important concept of all. The concept of justifications. But what are the justifications? The definition of justifications is a reason, a fact, a circumstance or an explanation that justifies or defends something, an idea, an act and an event. Justifications, it's valid when something happens that we are unable to control and to avoid. Justifications are not the same as excuses. Justifications it's something real that affect us. Excuses it's something that we invent to avoid something or work. Justifications, it's a reason. Justifications, it's the reason. Justifications, it's a valid reason for not doing something. Like a job, a work or something that we had to do. But do not look for justifications and excuses. Do you know how much energy, intelligence, ingenuity, talent, skills, and wisdom we use to invent excuses? Instead of doing what we have to do. Even if there are valid justifications. A winning and successful mind does not look for excuses and justifications. He did. He overcome them. Don't look for excuses and justifications. To not reach your goals, objectives and your dreams. There it's always an alternative. There it's always another way. Always. The concept of satisfaction. What is the satisfaction, and why does it makes me feel so good? The definition of satisfaction is the total and absolute feeling of fulfillment. To feel full. This is something extremely powerful but not so difficult to reach. Satisfaction it's a feeling and a thought. Satisfaction it's to feels and to know that we have enough. That we feel complete and fulfill. And with a sense of gratification, fulfillment and joy. When we feel full. And this feeling, it's something that everyone has to acquire. I mean, that the feeling of satisfaction, it's different to each one of us. I mean that for some, they could feel satisfied with less. And for some, there need a lot more. To feel satisfied. The definition of satisfaction is the thought and the feeling of fulfillment. To feel full. Satisfaction it's to feel fulfillment. Achievement, contentment, joy, happiness, realization, and gratification. Satisfaction it's pleasure. Pleasure it's satisfaction. But even if satisfaction it's caused by external factors and interactions, it's our own brain who create the feeling of satisfaction. Through powerful electric pulses and chemical substances such as adrenaline, serotonin, dopamine and endorphins. And it's something extremely important and powerful for us. That's why we look for it all the time. And I know that when you hear the word satisfaction, you immediately think about sex. And of course, sexual interactions are a very powerful and important part of the satisfaction, but not exclusively. Even in every action and state of our life, we're looking for satisfaction. The satisfaction depends on some factors. Let's say that you are extremely hungry, and you go to a restaurant and ask for 6 pounds of meat, just for yourself. Even if you want to eat that amount of meat by yourself, you already have your stomach size. You are not fat, you are slim. So, you will get to a point when your stomach is already full, and your stomach will send an electric signal to your brain of fulfillment. And even if your mind wants to continue eating, you just simply cannot, because you already full. And this will certainly cause in your brain a very good feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. And even if your mind wants to continue eating, you should know when you are full and satisfied. And be very happy with that. Because maybe our body could limit ourselves to fulfill the unrealistic expectations that our brain creates. I mean, that you should know when enough it's enough. And be very happy with that. And this applies also when we drink. I mean that our mind could create very high, exaggerate, and unrealistic expectations. And in some cases, our own body could limit that unrealistic expectations of our mind. I mean, that we should know when enough it's enough and feel satisfied, thankful, and joyful with that. And, yes, perhaps one of the most unrealistic expectations that our mind creates, it's about sexual interactions. But in order to have a good, happy and fulfilled life, you have to know when enough it's enough. And feel very happy and satisfied with that. Because in some cases, the satisfaction will come after fulfilling those needs, dreams and desires. And all this it's boosted by our own powerful imagination. By an image. Because satisfaction could cause dependence and addiction. But, to feel extremely satisfied, you would not have to buy or obtain something very expensive. Let's say that you are in a very hot place, and you are extremely thirsty. And you buy a 2-liter bottle of cold and delicious water. And after you finish drinking that delicious cold water, your senses will send a signal to your brain of an extremely good feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction. Or, let's say, that you are in the desert, and you are extremely thirsty, and you see that someone is selling a 20-liter carboy of cold water. And your brain wants to drink all that water. And you buy it and start to drink this 20 liters of cold and delicious water. But when you have drink 2 liters of that water, your stomach will send a signal to your brain, saying, "Okay, we are full, we can't drink any more water. There is no more space." Then, your brain will acknowledge that signal. And our own magnificent brain will create the feeling of a great and total satisfaction, happiness, fulfillment and gratefulness. And also, let's say that you eat and drink a lot of delicious food and water, and then you feel an extreme sensation and urgency to go to the bathroom. And when you are in the bathroom, you will feel an extremely and powerful sensation of pleasure and satisfaction all over your body. So, as you can see, there are a lot of ways to feel pleasure and satisfaction. Not only by sexual interactions. No. And when you feel extremely satisfied, never complain, but thanks. Be grateful. When you feel very satisfied, never complain. Never. Appreciate and be thankful. Say, "Thank you. I want more." Yes, thank you very much. I want a lot more. So, for you to be very happy, you have to know when enough it's enough. And to feel very happy, thankful and satisfied with that, try to be very happy with less. Total pleasure and satisfaction feels in all of our body. In every one of our cells. It looks like if every cell in our body feels. It looks like if every cell on our body feels by themselves. Satisfaction is to feel full. The concept of slavery and addictions. But what is the slavery and the addictions? Slavery and addictions, it's something bad. The definition of slavery is an state of mind in which an individual is owned by other person. The acceptance of somebody to be submitted and controlled by another person or a substance or a sensation or a thing. Mind slavery, it's when our mind becomes enslaved of somebody else or a substance or a thing. Mind slavery, it's the same as an addiction. To who, you are his slave. To what, are you enslaved? Slavery, it's on the exterior, when a person buys another person. And that person becomes the property of another. Mind slavery, it's very similar to outside slavery. But on the inside. I mean, that our mind becomes enslaved. A property of a substance, a feeling, a sensation, a thing, or somebody else. Our mind becomes enslaved of somebody else, or a thing, or a substance. And this is not good for ourselves. Nor for our loved ones. Not for our mental health. There are more than 100 things that we can be slave of. Like sex, alcohol, tobacco, our smartphones, drugs, medicines, painkillers, video games, work, laziness, social media, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, exercise, food, buying, eating, etc. To what are you a slave of? And when we become slaves of that, our mind changes our priorities in order to get the things that we are slave or addicted to. But, just as the addictions, this is something very bad to ourselves. We should not be slave or somebody or something. We do not have to be addicted or a slave of nobody and nothing. Because, when we are slave or addicted to somebody or to something,
Our own brain looks for any excuse and reason to obtain that substance, person, or something.
but, just as the addictions, we don't become slave or addicted to the substances or the things. We become slaves and addicted to the feeling of pleasure and satisfaction that those substances and things makes us feel. I mean, that we became slave and addicted to the feelings and the emotions, not to the substances or the things. And I don't know if that, it's something bad. Because, if they makes us feel so much pleasure and satisfaction, then, we will always look for that. Because, pleasure, it's pleasure. Because, pleasure and satisfaction makes us feel alive. But, it has to be a balance. But, I don't know how to overcome slavery and addictions. Maybe, because, addictions becomes our priority. That's why our mind discards almost everything else, and prioritize our addictions over everything else. And this is something very, very bad. This is something very, very stupid. This is something very, very selfish. Because the alcoholics will prioritize to buy alcohol over the food for their sons and his family. The drug addicts will prioritize to buy drugs, even if they are so expensive, over the food for their family. The workaholics will prioritize to work in their office over to be with his family, even if they earn enough money, etc. So, as you can see, slavery to addictions, it's something very, very bad. For ourselves and for our families and loved ones. Because our own brain will even find excuses and reasons to buy these substances, even if they are very expensive. Our own brain will invent reasons and excuses to consume all that substances. Our own brain will invent stupid, absurd and selfish excuses and reasons to validate the consumption of these substances. To validate the cost and the price of those substances over the food for your family. And it's something very stupid, absurd and selfish. All the addictions are something very, very stupid, absurd, selfish, foolish, irrational, illogical, ridiculous, unreasonable, naive, and very dumb. Because some very, very few people are capable to control their addictions. Addictions are something almost impossible to cure. That's why, the prevention it's better. And, one of the most powerful and even dangerous feelings and thoughts that we have is the concept of the respect. But what is respect? To obey. But what is the respect? Respect, it's a feeling more than a thought. The definition of respect is feeling attention and consideration towards a person.
But this definition it's wrong.
Because when you have to feel consideration towards someone, it means that you feel pity towards that person, not respect. The right definition would be the feeling of deep admiration for someone or something, elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Pity, it's not respect. Respect can be admiring someone or something deeply as a result of their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Respect, it's when you feel admiration for someone. Admiration, it's synonymous of respect. Nor consideration and attention, since consideration and attention, it's feeling pity for that person, not respect. Respect, it's also the fear to somebody. But the real definition of respect is the feeling of admiration towards that person who gives us what we want. We will respect somebody who gives us all that we want. That's the real respect. To be obedient and submissive to the person who gives us what we want. That's why the definition of the word respect has been corrupted for a long time. Because the word respect, it has been used and imposed, even from our parents, our teachers, the president, the people with power, and the religious people. In order to impose, force, demand, and order the respect to the people who really doesn't deserve our respect. Respect means obedience and submission. And our minds, ourselves, have a lot of resistance to the obedience and the submission. That's why, on this modern times, we don't easily accept the respect to somebody. But respect can be a two-edged knife. Respect, it's obedience, slavery, and submission. The respect, it's maybe one of the hardest concepts to understand and to accept. Our brain, our mind, has an extremely powerful resistance to the obedience and to the submission. To the respect. Maybe it's the feeling and the thought, which we have more resistance to. But after you understand it, then your mind will be free. And you will have a better and happy life. When you admire someone, either for their successes or their good deeds, or for their intelligence, for their abilities, or for what they are capable of performing, then you can feel respect towards him or her. There are 4 aspects that lead to respect someone: the admiration, the consideration, the attention, and, most important, the how much that person gives to us. If you got a job somewhere, and they tell you and demand you, that you have to respect the bosses and the directors, just because of their hierarchy, but you see that their acts and their way of treating other people, it's abusive, rude and arrogant, then still, even if you are forced and demanded that you have to respect them, inside you, you will never respect them. Because respect, it's a feeling more than a thought or an idea. What you will do, it's to tolerate them, but it is not respect, and remember that the tolerance goes as far as you decide. The tolerance ends when you decide. Because respect also means obedience and submission. Since true respect cannot be imposed, forced or bought. Let's say that in your job, your boss yell at you, that you have to respect him. But what he really wants to say, it's that you have to obey me. And to be submitted to me. Yes, sure. And one good thing on this modern times, it's that the people doesn't let been forced and impose by the old concept of the respect. Because for hundreds of years, the concept of the respect was used to do so terrible things to another human beings, like the Holy Inquisition, and so many terrible acts that was performed by the name of the religions and the respect. Nobody accepts that we have to respect others only because of the age. Nowadays, we have a better perception of what respect really is. And we are not imposed on the concept that we have to respect and to obey everybody. I mean, that we don't accept so easily the obedience and the submission, the respect to others. And this is something very good and important. Because for hundreds of years, the respect and fear was used to control and submit millions of people. And nowadays, because of the advances in the technology and communications, the social media has given us a wider perspective about the news and all what is happening in the world. And we realize that the people who wants and imposed respect for them are terrible people, that they are liars, thieves, depraved and very bad people. Hypocrites. And it's very, very important that we know the truth about the people on the government, the president and all the people who demand respect. Respect, it's when you feel admiration for someone. Admiration, it's synonymous of respect. Nor consideration and attention, since consideration and attention, it's feeling pity for that person, not respect. We will always respect somebody who gives to us what we want. We will always respect and admire somebody who gives us all that we want, like our mother and our father. But I will say that not for our boss, because he is not giving me nothing. I'm earning my salary with my job and effort. The one who gives you more. The one that you are going to respect the most. The one who gives me more. The one that we are going to respect the most. That's the way it is. And the respect, it's about how much somebody gives to us. Material things. Money. But also for sentimental things. Love. Knowledge. Kindness. Guidance. Pleasure. Satisfaction. And sexual interactions. Although on this case, women's will respect more the man. Because, in a sexual relations, women's doesn't really gives. They receive. And they will respect the man, who gives them more pleasure. So, as you can see, we will respect someone who gives us what we want. Because, respect also entails debt, gratitude, and commitment. Let's be honest and realistic. We will only respect the one that gives us what we want so much. Because true respect cannot be imposed, forced or bought. Because respect, it's a feeling like the love. Because respect and love, it's a feeling more than a thought. I mean, that the respect and love are very powerful. But we can't really explain them. We just feel them. That's why, even if you force and impose to yourself that you have to respect and love somebody, even if you are imposing to your own self that you have to respect and love somebody, even if you think and say to your own self 1,000 times that you need to respect and love somebody, even so,
If you don't feel it,
you will never respect him or her. That's the way it is. Because respect, it's a feeling more than a thought. And it will always be like that. And there are a lot of people who will try to force you to respect them through fear. They will even try to force you to respect an image, an idea, or an statue. Like all religions, they use the fear to force you to respect their ideas, images, and statues. They will say to you that you have to kneel before this statue or images, and to kiss them, and to do everything that they say. Because, if not, then God will be very angry and furious, and he will punish you very hard. But if it's just an statue, just an image, what does that statue has giving to me? Because our brain, it's always looking for proofs and evidences. Because our brain has an extremely resistance to obey and to the submission. We have an extremely resistance to what we don't know, understand, and accept. We will never accept what we do not understand, like, or hate. Never. That's why many people use fear to impose on us the respect, the obedience, and the submission. Never allow it. Never. There are people who feel a great powerlessness due to their ineptitude and lack of attitudes and knowledge. And when they acquired certain power, they try to force people to respect them through violence and imposition, since otherwise nobody would never respect them. And that, it's so pathetic. But fear, it's fear. Fear, it's not respect, and at the end, people will continue without respecting them, even though they feel fear, but fear, it's not respect. And fear will lead to hate, and hate will lead to revenge. And fear will lead to revenge. The respect, it's earned. Let me tell you that respect, like love, it is something that cannot be demanded, purchased or imposed. Respect, it's an instinct. Respect towards someone else is something very difficult, since it also implies submission and obedience towards that person. If you were to analyze your feelings, you would realize that there are really very few people whom you really respect. Like our mother, who shows us with her actions of making us to eat, being aware of us, and so many actions of love towards us, which generate in us a huge and total respect towards her. Our own mother earns our admiration. And admiration its respect. Since respect is earned with actions. Respect it's very similar to love, true love and the respect are almost the same. No one can force us to respect someone. Nobody. Not even ourselves. No one can force us to love someone. Nobody. Not even ourselves. It doesn't matter of their social hierarchical, government or family position. Because, respect it's something that it's really earned, through the attitude and actions of that person or groups. Even if someone wants to impose respect towards another person or towards him or herself, inside of us, we will never really respect them. Tolerance and respect are very different. You can tolerate someone or a group, but it is not respect. It's only tolerance. Not respect. And remember that, the tolerance ends, whenever you decide so. Respect entails submission and obedience. Respect its admiration and gratitude towards someone who have give to you what you want. Many minority groups try to impose on us the respect for their ideas through violence and imposition, since these groups say that if you do not accept, respect and agree with all of their ideas, it is because you are intolerant and a bad person. And it's okay to be intolerant. You do not have to tolerate and nor put up with what you don't like. This means that, when they ask you, what do you think about their ideals, they don't want to hear your point of view, they want to hear what they want you to think about them. In other words, they talk about freedom of expression, but if you don't treat them and think like them, then they will catalog and label you as an intolerant and a bad person. But we have an universal right to be intolerant. We have the universal right to disagree to everything that we don't like. So, these groups are hypocrites, since they talk about freedom of expression, but they want to impose their ideas and the ways of thinking with violence. But each one of us has the universal right to the free expression, and the freedom of thinking, which means that we have the total and absolute freedom to agree or disagree with these groups. To be intolerant. Remember that it is not respect, it is tolerance. We have the universal right to be intolerant. Also, many groups and people try to impose respect towards them with fear and violence. But since respect it's a feeling, more than a thought, it is not possible to demand it, impose it or buy it. It's not possible. Fear is not respect, fear is fear, and fear leads to hate, and hate leads to revenge, and revenge will lead to violence. The idea it's imposed on us, that we have to respect certain groups of people only because of their gender, age, social class, position in the company, social strata, government position, sexual preference and profession. But we have all seen and suffered from the actions of arrogance, mistreat, abuse, and a very bad attitude of many of these people against us, and our families, who try to humiliate us, denigrate us, and force us to do things that we do not want to do. Shielded in the respect that according to them, they deserve. But that's not true. I can't generalize, but lots of people use this tactic. I cannot say that all women are good, nor can I say that all elderly are good, nor that all the youngsters are good, nor that all men are bad, nor that all people are good. And much less I can affirm that the president, his cabinet and the government people are good. And that are they not corrupt, or that they seeking the good of our country. Since his actions totally demonstrate the opposite. But as I have already told you, respect it's earned, it's not demanded, or bought, or imposed. Respect, it's earned with the actions, towards us and others. Respect is earned, depending on how much they give to us. Respect is earned, depending on how much someone gives to us. And that's the way it is. Because, you are going to respect the one that gives you what you want so much. You do not have the obligation of any form to respect, to whom you do not consider worthy of your respect, since there is no law in the world that obligates you and force you to respect any person or a group of persons against your will. There is not. If someone tells you that you have to respect them only because of their gender, age, social position, hierarchy, or profession, it is not true. This means that not because he is your boss, that you have to respect him, nor do you have to put up with or tolerate his insults, bad jokes, sexual jokes, rudeness, offenses, sexual violence, humiliation, blows or harassment, just because he is your boss. Or that you have to tolerate insults, offenses, humiliation, bad jokes, sexual jokes, physical attacks or harassment by women, the elderly, authorities, public servants, relatives, members of the clergy, or the president, or from absolutely nobody. Even if they say that you have to tolerate it, and to do whatever they say, for the respect that according to them, they deserve. You will not have to do it. I mean that you should never ever tolerate any insult or blow from a woman, just because she is a woman. From an elderly, just because he is elderly. From your boss, just because he is your boss. From nobody. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. If a woman mistreat you, insults you, and hits you, and she say that you have to take it because she is a woman, of course that you don't have to take it. Never. Nor for her, or by anybody. But if there are already offenses, insults and aggressions from someone you respect, or a family member, or a friend, or from your partner, or from someone that you depend on economically, you do not have to tolerate it, nor should tolerate them or allow them. Because if you allow it, they will continue to do it, since they know that you depend on them economically. You have to defend yourself, without fear of losing your job, friendship or relationship, since when these offenses, insults and aggressions already exist, you have to realize, understand and accept that that relationship and friendship has already been lost, it is over. And you should not, nor do you have to tolerate it, or allow them. Tolerance goes as far as you decide. Likewise, respect cannot be demanded towards religious groups or groups of any kind, since we have all known of such countless acts of corruption and sexual abuse towards boys and girls by these groups, which preach love, but their actions are of violence and abuses. Hypocrites. Since we have all had seen these acts of arrogance, and those actions generates hate towards those people and groups. Hate attracts hate. Hate generates violence. Violence attracts violence. There are many people who will try to impose the respect towards them, through fear and violence. Never ever allow it. Never. Since respect is something very valuable and powerful, that you give to whom you consider worthy. Because respect entails and demands submission and obedience. There are even people who will try to impose respect towards them, because according to them, they have the luck or by a divine design of having been born in rich families, and that makes them better than you. And that you are not like them, because you are not worthy. And that's why you have to respect them and to do everything that they order you to do. Which of course, is not true. Never, never allow it. Never. Respect it's only earned through actions. Respect it's earn. About how much somebody gives to us. Admiration it's respect. Respect it's admiration. Respect for yourself. As I have already said, respect is the feeling of admiration, gratitude and consideration. That is why it is very important that you respect yourself. You have to admire yourself, to be able to respect yourself. Admire what you do day by day, don't minimize your own successes. Feel proud of your own successes. Feel proud of what you give, to yourself, and to your family. Feel proud of yourself. Always. And with whoever you are with. Self-confidence it's the best thing that you can do. But to feel sure of yourself, you must first respect yourself, and to respect yourself, you must first admire yourself, and to admire yourself, you must first accept and love yourself. Remember that you and your body will be united all of your life. If you don't respect yourself, then no one else will respect you. If you don't appreciate and admire yourself, then no one else will appreciate and admire you. If you don't love yourself, then no one else will love you. If you don't love yourself, then no one else will love you. If you don't admire yourself, then no one else will respect you. In this world with more than 8 billion people, What is your value? How much do you worth? How much do you really worth? People will treat you the same way as you treat yourself. If you feel important, that is what you are transmitting, and that is how people will treat you. As if you are important. Even if you're not yet a millionaire, even if you do not have too much money. But even so, if you feel important and better than the others, then people will treat you better and they will treat you with respect. Even if you're poor, but if you feel important, the people will treat you with respect. Even so, feel important. And this means that the way that you feel about yourself. That's how people will treat you. The same way as you treat yourself. Because everything starts from our wonderful mind. How you are feeling is what you are vibrating, and that is what you are transmitting. And the universe, the people and the energy that surround us. They are responding to you, to how do you feel. You have to feel an attitude of acceptance, appreciation, respect and admiration towards yourself, no matter if you have achieved a lot or a little in your life. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself ugly, fat, skinny, dumb, short or with a disability. It doesn't matter. But the respect starts within ourselves. The respect starts within yourself. You are worthy of respect. Feel important. But you have to earn the respect from others. But if you don't value, respect you, appreciate and love yourself, then no one else will. If you give what they want to others, then you will earn their respect. Then they will respect you. The more you value yourself, the more sure about yourself that you will feel. First, accept yourself. Later, admire yourself. Then, take care of yourself. Then, love yourself. And if you are unable to admire yourself, if you are unable to find something good about yourself, then you really have a serious self-esteem problem. Because you must understand and accept that you are going to be with yourself all of your life. With your own body. With your own mind. Whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. So, as you can see, the respect it's something hard. Because it implies obedience and submission. You will respect someone who gives you everything that you want. These are some examples of real respect. I admire and respect my mother because she prepares the food that I love, and because she wash and iron my clothes, and she is always caring about me, and she keeps the house clean. I admire and respect that person because with his money, he build and maintain that shelter for 100 street dogs. I admire and respect my wife because she wash and iron my clothes, and she prepare my favorite food, and she keeps the house clean. I admire and respect my teacher because he has teach me a lot of things that it will help me in my life. And I could give you some more examples, but maybe not too many. Because respect it's earned. And there are so very few people who deserve respect. Because respect it's something very hard. And so very, very few people really deserves respect. And maybe I can't give you any examples about a government or a president. Because almost not one really makes good things for their country and for their people. The government and presidents demand respect through fear and impositions. They don't deserve respect. So, as you can see, if I ask you to count with your fingers, how many people did you really respect? You will use not more than 4 fingers. A lot of people on this world demands respect. But almost nobody deserve respect. Almost nobody. And even if we can admire the super billionaires because of their achievements. But it will really not be respect. Only admiration. Because, maybe if they have acquired them enormous fortunes with their intelligence and talents, they really keep their enormous fortunes to themselves. They really not helping others. Or us. That's why it will be admiration, but not respect. Respect, it's earned, according to, how much do they give to us? According on how much someone gives to you. If you want that people respect you, you need to give them what they want. Wealth and success are possible. But it all depends on you. Never ever allow that someone else controls you. Never.